Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Afi and I'm back again with another video. This video today is going to be a song inspiration. I know I haven't done this in such a long time. Like I've actually been thinking about doing it for so long, but I don't know. I think I've just been inspired to do other stuff. But this time I want to do a song inspiration on the song called Situation by Jonathan McReynolds. This one is going to be a bit of a different song inspiration because, like, of course, I'm going to be talking about the song, but it'll be a lot more like just the lessons that I got from the song and stuff like that because I think there's so many lessons to unpack, but I also want to take this song inspiration to like a different direction. So, if you haven't had this song, I'm going to link it down below so you can go and listen to it. It's off of his People album. The album got released this year, 2020, I think around April. It's a very, very good album. I think all the songs collectively are so beautiful. Also, in the order that they make so much sense. And I probably will do more song inspirations of that album. Maybe even every song. I don't know. We'll see. So of course I'm going to talk about the lyrics and then lessons and then lyrics and then I'm just going to have like a bit of like an ending note kind of. Okay then, so that's a cool intro. All right, so let's get into it. So also I'm looking in this direction a lot and you can tell I know because this is what the lyrics are. I'm trying to move from using my book to using my laptop, so I'm trying to go more digital. Maybe I'll talk about that in a video way, way later when I've figured out like good systems and stuff like that. Right now, I'm just trying it. So anyway, the first verse of the song starts, I ask for things that I think that I need. I get frustrated when you disagree. And you're always listening closely to me, but there is a limit to what I can see. I feel like me saying the words does not do it justice because the depth of this song is literally like, I don't know how to explain how deep this song is, and even more than that, how deep it is in my life. But this first verse just reminds when I first heard the song, the thing that I noticed the most was the humility that came with this verse, and the fact that he was recognizing how limited we are as human beings. And even if it's from, or actually, he talks about the song and he says that it's written from a situation, like from someone else's situation. Like he saw a situation and that inspired the song. So it didn't really happen in his life. But the fact that he could take that and make it his own, and more than that, even convey it to us in a way that we understand it, I think is very, very cool because the whole idea of me praying to God and asking God for stuff, and getting frustrated when things don't happen the way I want them to. I'm just going to reference my video that I did. I think I named it You Can Have My Heart God or something like that. I actually can't remember what I named it, but I'm going to link it down below as well. So it's probably going to be the second video that I link. And in that video, I talk about how I basically like there was a situation and I wanted to go one way, but God was telling me that it needed to go another way, and I was so frustrated and stuff like that. But this part exactly is that's what it's talking about, right? So me getting frustrated when God disagrees with what I want to do as if I'm planning my own life. Like, who do I think I am? And the fact that God is always listening closely to us, but there's a limit to what we can see. And that's why whatever we ask for is limited, right? Because it's only limited to what we want. Like if I'm asking for a job, or like if I'm praying to God that this job comes through or this opportunity comes through, that may not be the opportunity that takes me to the place that God needs me to be. It may not be the opportunity that will teach me the most. And so me getting frustrated by the fact that he closed this door and yet he's gonna open this other great door. It's a bit crazy. So then he goes into the chorus where he says, I'm not asking for an outcome or praying for results. I'm not hoping that it all goes exactly how I want. I'm not asking you to do it or asking that you don't. I'm inviting you to my situation. And then he goes, come through because I need you in my situation. And there's not too many words in this song, if I'm being honest. Like, that's about it. And then it goes into the second verse. And this chorus, I think, is what holds most meaning in this song because he says, I'm not asking for an outcome or praying for results. And I think that's something that I've had to learn over the months because I had this song right about when it came out. But it's honestly, I don't listen to such bomb music, but my friend recommended it to me, and I was like, oh my god, this is so nice. So this is the song that I connected with the most out of the entire album, and then the rest followed. So yeah, he just goes, I'm not asking for an outcome or praying for results, right? So it's like, I don't know exactly what I'm asking for, because it's your way, and like whatever you want I definitely want for myself as well, because you recognize that God only wants the best for you. um and then it goes to, I'm just inviting you to my situation. The second verse is, you see the big picture, you hold the frame, past, present, and future, you see the same. And I'm just going to cut off this verse here and say how this part reminds me of God's unchanging nature, and the fact that God doesn't change, right? And God's intentions are never going to change, and God's purpose is never going to change. I've mentioned in other videos that I was doing this divine principle study, and in this study, we basically got to a chapter that talks about how, like, throughout the course of history, God has purposed to fulfill his purpose, basically, and his purpose remains the same. Everything else can be changing. Like, God can use different people. Like, if he used Moses, and then he used, for example, if he uses like Noah, he uses Abraham, he uses Moses, then he goes on to use other people and other prophets. But ultimately, at the end of the day, he was trying to build these chosen people who were supposed to accept his son when he came, Jesus Christ, right? And so, just thinking about that and thinking about the fact that God doesn't change. And so, even if you think about it in the Bible and you take that into your own life, when you look at your past and you look at your present, and in the future, when you look at it again and just see how your life goes through, you'll probably see that God has been trying to take you in this one direction, whether or not you wanted it, whether or not it was in your line of vision. I've had a lot of people saying, like, I didn't ever think this is where I was gonna be. When they're talking about how, like, the big accomplishments they've had, they're like, I didn't know where I was going when I first started this thing. But when God works, he works. You know what I'm saying? And like, if God is in your life, he is in your life, and he's working to do this specific thing, and that's going to be unchanging. And maybe he'll use different ways, but we're all going to end up in the same place, in the place that we're intended to end up, basically. Then the rest of the verse continues. I know that it's very human to want everything my way, but if I don't get what I pray for, my hope is in your name, right? Um, I feel like I'm really not doing this song justice by, like, just saying the words. I feel like singing makes it so much better, so I'm gonna try and learn it on the piano and I'll play it as well. But like, this song, like, oh my gosh, this part actually just makes me, I think, more emotional, just because I've recently gone through such a situation where, like, all I was doing was praying that God was in the middle of the situation, and he was, and he gave me an answer, and I was frustrated. And anyway, ultimately, it's like, if I don't get what I pray for, my hope is in your name. And that's the place where I got to, where I was like, even if God is taking me in this direction that I truly in my heart do not want to be in, right? I'm trusting that God knows exactly what is good for me, and he knows exactly what is going to grow me and what is going to take me in the right direction. And even though I don't see it now, just as he said in the first verse, it's like, my no, it's in the second verse, literally. He says, you see the big picture, right? And I'm not seeing that big picture. I'm looking at myself right now, and I'm looking at where I want my life to go. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, of course, I wish that my dream and God's dream were aligned, and maybe they are. Maybe it's just the way I get to it that is different from what I thought, So that's just it. And then we go into the chorus, where it's just repeated, where it's, I'm not asking for an outcome or praying for results. I'm not hoping that it all goes exactly how I want. I'm praying for you to be in this situation. And then towards the end, there's this part where he's just going, I just want you here with me, Lord, right? And the thing with this part that I like the most is, it's very silent. It's not, and I think there's like a choir in the background ish doing all the harmonies and stuff like that, and like backing him up. And the reason why I like this part so much is because it reminds you of how comforting it is to be in God's presence, and how comforting it is to just know that God is in your situation, and I can speak from experience that, like, once you know that you're in, like, what once you pray and you've left stuff to God, and of course you're working towards it. I think I've mentioned how there's this thing I was reading about how, like, even when you pray, you need to also act, right? So you can't just pray and sit down. You need to act on it and make like and make just make it look like you're working towards this thing that you're praying for, because you can't just pray and sit down and chill and just wait, like, I mean, no. So anyway, this part, just thinking about how comforting it is to bring something to God and to ultimately get a response from God. And I talk about it in that other video where I say, even though it was a decision that I did not want, even though in my brain I didn't want to do this, I felt a sense of calm that I hadn't felt ever before, even when I had made the decision that I'm not going to do this. It was very calming, and that's how you know that God is in the situation, because God is of clarity, right? God does not bring things with confusion. If you're confused about something, for sure that's not from God. Like, just that's how you know. That is how you know. And I see a lot of things in my life where there was so much confusion, and I kept trying to pray about it. And I think it's Pastor Mike Todd. So I think it's Pastor Mike Todd who talks about it's something to do with confusion and clarity. Oh, it's he talks about how, like, we pray for things and we're praying for God to come into this situation, but God is not the one who put this situation in your life. Or even you took yourself there, God showed you this is not where you're supposed to be, and then you decided, oh, I'm wiser than God, so let me go there. And then now you want to start praying and saying, God bless this thing, but God did not tell you to go there. So now why do you want to bring God into something that He did not bring into your life? Just bring confusion into your life. Like, that is just confusion for nothing. Like, there's no point in that confusion. So that was just the point of that part. And then it moves on to the end of the song where he says, I'm just inviting you to my situation. Come through because I need you in my situation. I'm just inviting you in my situation, basically. And after that, we now go towards the end of the song. Actually, I think that's just like the end of the song at this point. That's the song being finished. And wow, this song inspiration is actually quite long. It's longer than I thought it would be, but I think it's because I've been talking in between, so that's great. But my point is that the words of this song are not too many. The song is short in itself, but I think that's why it's so beautiful, because you can keep repeating it and feeling like I haven't had enough of it, because it reaches the end and you're like, no, I want to hear it again, and that's the thing with songs. Like, if a song is like that, then it's really good. And if it appeals to your emotions, then for sure it's a good song. That's the point of music, right? And I just wanted to say, when you think about praying to God about a situation and you want it to happen the way you want it to happen, and maybe that's not how God is going to take you to your purpose, then, there's this song reminds me of letting go, like just a lot of letting go of a situation, and like stopping to try to be in control. Is that even proper English? I don't know. But like, just trying to stop being in so much control and stop holding on so tightly to these ideas that you have in your head. And telling God that this is how I want the situation to be, and like, it's up to you to get in line with my system. Like, even when I think about that, I think there's a lot of pride that comes into that. And as human beings, I think we're innately proud. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but it's like we just want things to happen our way, right? And I think there's a part where it says, actually, like, I'm human, and it's very human for me to want everything my way. And that's what it is, because we're human beings, and that's part of our fallen nature. And so I think an attitude that we need to adopt is ultimately learning God's heart, right? Just trying to understand God's heart, trying to understand where God's heart is at, so that we can know what to pray for, and connecting to God through understanding His heart. I think that's something that's very important. So be it reading the Bible, reading all these books inspired by God to be written by all these great authors, because there's so many people writing books about God and stuff like that. And it's great, honestly. Like, it's one of those things where, like, the closer you get to God, the better you are at making decisions, because your decisions are going to be aligned with God's purpose. And the thing that I want to say very strongly in this video that I don't think I say that often is that you're a human being and you are imperfect. And selfishness will come through, and you don't need to be killing yourself because you're selfish. You just need to have the awareness that, okay, this is a selfish moment in my life. How can I go back into a place of selflessness and into a place of like thinking about God, thinking about others, thinking about, everybody else but me? And like, how do I get to a place of not being so self-centered? I think that's what's important. Learning from whichever mistake that you've made, or learning from whichever situation you've gone through and doing better. Like, never feel like you are lost cause. Never feel like there's like, now I've done the worst in the whole world, that's it. I can never be redeemed. I think there's redemption for everybody, but you just have to have that very sincere heart, and you have to just, try to understand God and stuff like that. Because if you think about God as your father, then for sure your father is gonna forgive you. Like, your parent is always gonna forgive you. Your parent loves you. And yeah, that's just God's nature. And yes, so that's the message that I had for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you've watched till the end and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you can get notified every single time I post a new video. All right, bye. See you next time.